Mesquite family, if you watched the June board meeting, you know that the Board of Trustees approved the budget for the 24-25 school year, including our compensation plan. I am always committed to explaining the why behind the decisions we make, so I wanted to take some time today to explain the financial factors we are facing this coming school year. Our team has faced an incredible challenge throughout the school year and the budget process. We are focused on allocating funds for our district priorities, but despite our best efforts to stretch out our dollars, our current needs exceed our available revenue. Like many other districts around the state, we made the difficult choice to present a deficit budget for board approval. The 24-25 school year, we expect a shortfall of approximately $28 million. Our entire Mesquite ISD expenditure budget totals approximately $458 million, but you may be surprised to learn that over 83% of the district budget goes to salaries, leaving only 17% to cover all other expenses, such as utilities, maintenance costs, transportation costs, instructional materials, equipment, vehicles, insurance costs, etc. When budgeting, we must be very prudent in our choices, and quite frankly, there's not enough to do everything we would like to do. During the most recent legislative session and the subsequent special session, our legislatures failed to increase the basic allotment, which is the amount districts receive per student for average daily attendance, or ADA. Public schools haven't seen an increase in the basic allotment since 2019, despite the fact that the state has a $33 billion budget surplus that continues to grow. We all know the impact of inflation, and school districts are not immune to the rising costs of goods and services. I know you're feeling your dollars shrink in your own households and are likely having to make some difficult budgeting choices. Experts estimate that the cost involved in educating our students has increased 90% since 2019. Our current situation is unsustainable, and without adding funds from the state legislature, we will be forced to make drastic cuts as soon as the 25-26 school year, while continuing to scrub to just approved budget for savings and efficiency opportunities. MISD must incur additional costs this year, including expanding our pre-K program, making required contributions to the teacher retirement system, paying salaries for armed security personnel at our elementary schools, and increasing the district's premium for property and auto insurance and summer school, which was previously covered by ESSER dollars. Now let's talk compensation, because I know that topic is most important to you. The Texas Association of School Boards, or TASB, recently completed a comprehensive salary study for our district. TASB reviewed our current compensation plans and pay practices, benchmarked those against other market peers, and developed recommendations tailored to our district's budget. The review focus was to ensure our pay is internally fair and competitive within our market. Depending on the position, our market peers may include other districts and even private or public sector employers. When the board approved the 2% general pay increase for all employees for the 24-25 school year, those raises will be calculated a bit differently than in the past. TASB has recommended that MISD switch to a market-based method for our pay system and raises, which is the system used by most school districts in the state of Texas. There are several reasons why this is the preferred approach. Under a market-based system, those at the lower end of a pay grade are able to move their salaries toward the midpoint faster than under the system Mesquite ISD currently uses. The market-based approach maintains differentiation in pay between employees in the same pay grade. Over time, those at the higher end of the pay grade continue to earn a higher salary than those at the lower end. But the difference in pay between those near the top of each pay grade and those near the bottom narrows. When raises are calculated as a percentage of employees' individual pay, as we previously have done, the difference in pay for one employee to the next becomes greater over time, and the pay gap between employees in the same pay grade widens. Changing to the market-based system will strengthen our pay structure and make Mesquite ISD more competitive. If you remember, last year we focused on significantly raising our teacher salaries to improve our position in the market following our community's approval of the VADER. Teacher raises last year were as high as 8%, the highest amount ever given by Mesquite ISD. This investment resulted in dramatically improving our position in the market and making Mesquite ISD very competitive with other districts in terms of teacher pay. So how will this market-based approach affect teacher pay for the coming school year? The starting salary for first-year teachers will be $62,000 next year, and continuing teachers will receive an increase based on the market median salary. The market median salary is the amount that falls in the middle when you arrange all salaries of certain job within a market in order from lowest to highest. For the 24-25 school year, the median market salary for teachers is $65,000. 2% of $65,000 is $1,300. Using this market-based approach to raises, every continuing MISD teacher will receive the same flat rate pay increase of $1,300. That amount will be prorated for those on contracts that exceed 187 days. Granting the same dollar amount increase to all teachers will preserve differences in pay according to the experience over time while using market competitive pay increases. For all those employees who are on the pay scales with a minimum, midpoint, and maximum salary, raises will be calculated by applying the 2% increase to the midpoint of each employee's assigned pay grade. Much like teacher raises, the dollar amount of raises for those employees will be the same for all employees within the same pay grade who work the same number of days rather than the percentage of each employee's individual salary. Beginning with the 24-25 school year, counselors, diagnosticians, licensed skilled professionals, librarians, and nurses will move from a step scale to the professional pay scale, which has a minimum, midpoint, and maximum for each pay grade. This change allows the pay to reflect their market value more fairly and appropriately. The TASB compensation study highlighted some areas where the salaries of some employees were below market and others where internal pay structures were not equitable. We're implementing all TASB salary adjustment recommendations. Not everyone will receive a market adjustment this year because some salaries are already in line with the market rates. If you're one of those employees who will receive a market adjustment for the 24-25 school year, you will be notified of the adjustment in the personalized salary letter you will receive from the personnel department once they have finished all the calculations. The total investment Mesquite ISD will make to employee compensation this year, including raises and market adjustment, is approximately $8 million. Another significant factor to impact our budget for next year is the constantly rising costs of healthcare and premiums. A year ago, MISD chose to leave TRS Active Care, the state's health insurance plan for educators. The TRS plan was expected to have a significant funding shortfall that will likely result in big increases in premiums for employees. To avoid that increase, Mesquite ISD chose to become self-insured and remain within the Blue Cross Blue Shield network used by TRS. The district also committed to not increasing employee premiums for 1 year. Unfortunately, we're unable to avoid a premium increase for the 24-25 school year. However, the district's average contribution to the employee health plan will approximately be $450 for the 24-25 year, which is an increase of 50% over the amount the district contributed to each employee's health insurance coverage when MISD was on the TRS plan. This amount is also significantly higher than what other districts around us contribute to their employees' insurance coverage. The premiums increase will take effect September 1st and vary by plan and coverage level. During the open enrollment period later this summer, all employees will be able to review and compare their health insurance options. On the brighter note, throughout the bid process, the district was able to secure lower premiums for our supplemental benefit programs. Examples is dental and vision, by selecting a new plan administrator. Those of you opting for those benefits likely noticed significantly lower premiums than you paid the same for supplemental benefits in the past. In addition, we were able to negotiate standard $20,000 life insurance and indemnity benefits for all MISD employees at no cost to the employees. MISD is implementing several cost-saving measures to address the budget deficit and our limited funds by examining the return on investment. One is eliminating the attendance pay incentive for 24-25. This year, we budgeted $2.7 million for this incentive. However, the program was not very successful in reducing overall employee absences. Canceling the incentive program will allow us to repurpose those dollars to fund other district priorities. We will continue to refine our staffing formulas and practices to ensure we're not employing more staff than needed. Through more intentional and prudent scheduling and enrollment review, we will eliminate some positions for next year through attrition, which will potentially result in significant savings on the expenditure budget. I wanted to share this information with you today in the interest of transparency and understanding. As I mentioned earlier, there is so much more the district would like to do, especially in the area of salaries, because our people are the district's greatest assets. But the changes we are making now will have positive impact on the district's financial situation for the future and ensure that our entire compensation plan is stronger, more competitive, and more equitable for our staff. Excellence always.